Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Vikas Nera, and in today's video, I will explain how to set class of service for all users in Zimbra. In the last video, I showed you how to create users, and in the video before that, I covered decommissioning and I demonstrated how to install Zimbra in Ubuntu. You should watch those videos first. In the last video, we created users. Now let's learn how to give access to them. When you have multiple users, you can use class of service to manage their permissions. Whenever you create a user, you'll see an option for class of service. To access this, go to the home page, then to Accounts. Click on Configure, and class of service will be the first option you see. By default, there is one class of service. If you want to create a new class of service, click on the New button in the corner. For the display name, you'll create a class of service name. I'll create one called VKTube. After entering VKTube, click Next and you'll see the feature selection page. Any features you select here will be applied to this class of service. This means that all users assigned to this class of service will have access to these selected features. For now, I'll remove all features except the mailing feature. There are many other features available that I can include, including password management. I won't give users permission to change their passwords, but I'll allow them to use the default theme templates. Any features you select here will be available to users assigned this class of service when creating their accounts. I'll demonstrate this practically so you can understand it better. I deselect these options here, and now I'll click Next. You can choose between modern and classic interfaces. Let's keep these settings as they are. You can select any additional options you need here. If something isn't necessary, you can leave it unchecked. Click Next, and you can select which theme you want to assign to this class of service. You can set the available themes and choose the default theme. I'll select a middle theme as the default. Next, we'll look at the chat function. I'll show you how this works. I'm currently logged in as an admin user. Let me log in again to demonstrate the chat feature. Once the email interface opens, you'll see the chat option in the upper right corner. You can chat with any online user through this feature. You can enable or disable this feature here, along with email and phone number settings. After configuring these, click Next. Next, select the server you want to assign. Currently, we have only one server, but large companies often maintain multiple servers for redundancy. Since we only have one server right now, it's already selected. Click Next to proceed to Advanced Settings. Here you can set storage limits, such as 50 megabytes and other quotas. You can set the threshold here. Click Finish, and you'll see that a new class of service named bktube has been created. Now let's go back to Home, click the menu again, and create a new account. I'll enter the information here. When it asks for the class of service, we can select from the available options. By default, there are 3 options, 2 pre-configured ones and the one I just created called bktube. I'll select this one. Next, you need to set a password, so I'll enter that here. After entering the password and clicking Finish, the user account is created. Now let's verify it. I'll log in using the account information, domain, and password. This is the user account I created with the new class of service. You can see the class of service settings are applied. All the features we defined in the class of service are now applied to this user. Let me show you. I had disabled all themes except the mailbox and set the middle theme as default. Notice how the design is different. The calendar and context menus have been removed because of the class of service settings we created. When I created the class of service, I specified these features. We can edit the bktube class of service. Going back to features, I'll enable contacts and calendar. All options will be restored, and I'll change its theme to steel, then click Save. The changes made to the class of service will apply to all users assigned to it. Any new users added with this class of service will receive these settings automatically. This is why we use class of service. Now I'll refresh the page, which will log me out, and then I'll log back in. Let me log in again, and you'll see the theme has changed, and the contacts, calendar, and tasks menus have returned. We use class of service because it allows us to manage features for multiple users efficiently. Instead of configuring settings for each user individually, you can use class of service to make bulk changes. Now, let me show you the chat feature. To use chat, go to the chat room and click Add New Buddy, then enter the email address. You can chat with any user, client, or manager using their email address. Enter their email and nickname, then click OK. The contact will be added to your chat list. A chat invitation will appear in the user's chat window. When you click it, it will ask if you want to accept the chat request. Click Yes to accept. Once I accept the request, we can begin chatting. When you click on it, a chat window will open where you can type hello or hi. As I switch to this user's account, you can see the hello message has arrived. I'll reply I am because, thanks. I've replied with thanks. This makes it very convenient to communicate with other users. The complete chat system and email functionality are integrated, and you can manage permissions as needed. Zimbra is designed specifically for business use, which is why I mentioned earlier that many large companies use it. Large organizations can implement multiple servers for redundancy. If one server fails, you can switch to another server. These advanced features make Zimbra very reliable. In this video, I've shown you how to use class of service and how these services apply to users. That's all for this video. In the next video, we'll explore more Zimbra features. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.